Apologize for my
I'm
I
recording.
apologize. Okay, great, Ami. Hi, everybody, it's Jay. I apologize for my EOS account name. I'm also on a cell phone and I have terrible voice and reception, but I am here. And so because I'm on a cell phone, it's going to be difficult for me to jot down even my own EOS account name. So if somebody else can kind of be the secretary to keep score and track and my name and everything, that would be appreciated. Thanks, you guys.
That's all right.
It's good to see everybody.
Yeah. So who's going to start?
Well, you asked for it, Amy. You can go ahead first.
Okay. I'm working on EOS in a Box, which is a web wallet for EOS, and I'm doing a lot of work behind the scenes on it, and hope that something initial will be up soon. It's a secure web wallet because you don't have to worry about backing up your private keys. You never see your private keys. It's all managed for you on the phone, and you can only sign using your fingerprint or Face ID. And it's been on Pomelo, and I'm working on that. That's for Eden. For Fractally, is that included on this agenda now? Okay, so for Fractally, I'm working with two guys there on simulating results, and Matt is the one that's leading that, and that's his day job at Apple. But what I want to do is port that to a web page so it's easy and everyone can tweak the simulation and play with the numbers and the formulas and run their own simulations. He's doing it really advanced. He started with Python and then he's moving that to C++ so he can do many iterations and many variations on the parameters. But I want to have something that's easy for anyone to just tweak the numbers and the formulas and see the graphs online on the page. So that's me in the past week and a few months.
Nice. Just have a question. I guess if we have enough people in this group, you could probably transfer that same group that you're doing on Fractally to the Eden group, right?
Yeah, just need the raw data, and yeah, you can show the same charts and statistics on it.
Perfect.
When you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Good to see everybody. I've got the birds chirping behind me. It's kind of neat. This week, I invited the people that I inducted into Eden. So I had 12 people that I inducted. A lot of them are crossovers to people that I invited to Fractally as well. A few of the people I invited to Fractally just said the Saturdays weren't convenient. So I'm hoping that, some of them are more EOS centric, that we'll see some of them show up here. I've had none of them join yet, so I'll keep on them. I'm going to be starting a little video series of just really simple introductions of what is Fractally. So look forward to that update next week. I'm just starting, and yeah, just kind of do my usual. Have a lot of different Fractally and consensus and different meetings. I think my little video series is going to be starting really not centered in on EOS or Fractally, but trying to interview people from other DACs and DAOs and seeing what their issues or problems have been. A lot of them have been just getting people to get to consensus or token weighted voting. So hopefully that way I can get a couple influencers from other DACs and DAOs to tell us what their problems are and lead them to Fractally. So nothing that I've done this week. I just set stuff up, but yeah, I'm excited to start that. yeah, that's about it. I'll transfer it over to Vlad.
Thanks. Hi. So during the last week, Eden related things that I did. After the last meetings call, we had a call with a brief call with James Mart. He helped me to set up the developer tooling in order to, to be able to contribute to his code. So I've spent a couple of hours just looking at what he has already built, trying to understand the code that he has written. And I'm formalizing my own idea of what to add to his code in order to make this process even smoother. That's all from my side. Douglas, would you like to go next?
Sure. Well, I really appreciate all your guys' contributions because I am having a fun time in the EOS ecosystem. And I'll be the first to admit that I've just been freely pursuing my interests and seeing where I can add value to the Eden and Fractally ecosystems, EOS, whatever. And I'm in a place of still discovering those answers. But in the meantime, I found, out of curiosity, one of the very unique things that I've been able to provide members in this community is just an open sounding board. I've been finding myself having one-on-one sessions with different people just to get to know what they're like, what's passionate to them, who they are as a person. And I feel in doing that, even though it might not have some real substantive measurable contribution, what I'm realizing for me is it's giving me a very clear sense of who the other people that I'm working with are, and what makes them tick and what's important to them. And I think that's missing, so much of the time we focus on the work that we lose the human aspect, and that whatever we're designing with fractal governance or whatever can't overlook this human aspect. And so that's something that I just, it's just something I've been reflecting on. Honestly, after Dwayne and we sat down and had a real long conversation. It was really healthy. It was good. I've had extended conversations with Jay Taylor here too. And so for me, it's like, I didn't come from a smart contract coding background. And I try to get involved in some of the Telegram groups and follow what's going on with DPoS or just, voting. And it's just so much of it is over my head. But where I'm trying to focus my efforts is in my strengths, which is largely with like basic Web 2 tools like WordPress websites, SEO and whatnot. So for example, I have two websites, eosindex.org and eosopenstage.org. And I don't know if you're the same Bishop of Bishop Creations, but I got the map from Jesse, it's on the front page of my EOS index site. And I made sure that PDF, that those links worked, because most PDF embedders don't allow the links to work. And I've just been compiling and curating a tremendous amount of information that I want to just SEO optimize and start pushing. And I sort of want to get some organization to marketing, and because there's always the marketing of what is EOS or Eden or what are we doing here, this big picture vision stuff, which is complicated to agree on. But there's all these focused subgroups of topics that, regardless of what's happening, we want to have a smooth onboarding process for new users, and we want to have dApps that are adaptable and available for widespread use. And so there's some kinds of areas of content where I want to start targeting keywords so I can get people at #1 instantly. And so there's a whole lot of background I have with streaming, with web, with interacting in social media. My latest endeavor is building a web education Web3 university, to where I can gamify the process of learning and actually build a sort of like a gaming kind of system where I don't even have a game. It's just more a culture. and an incentive. Like I started thinking about I could do it through just even like a point system and like WordPress plugins and whatnot. So while I'm still learning how to tokenize the world and whether that's a good thing or if I should be afraid of it, I'm trying to build in concept ideas and systems where I'm trying to build a following and an interest, and like so much of what I want to do is it's so big picture, but I need to take action now. I don't want to wait till tomorrow. So I'm using what I call guerrilla techniques of just using very low effort, focused, short things like, you know, when I see new information come out that's really important, like Dan's information on the blockchain database system, I was like, for sure, this needs to be reshared. And I can't wait 10 seconds because the sooner I get this out there and push it, that's great for SEO. The search engines recognize that. And so I've been, I set up my own node. A very important point that I'm going to leave on is I've been doing a lot of research into the distortion of news and information based on your regional location. And so what I've been finding, I've been invading a lot of the other language community groups in the Discord and Telegram, and I've been using machine language tools and AI voice tools to sort of capture their interests or interact with them, which has been fun. But something that I came across again more recently is the GDPR is created a situation where most American websites, news websites, aren't displayed in Europe based on the fact that they're not in compliance with the GDPR. So when you talk to people about politics or information, what I find out is there's this huge absence of perspective of Europeans over versus what Americans see, because they're bombarded with a completely different kind of news set. And I started realizing that in my interaction with the Chinese Eden members, there's also this kind of biases of information, and actually making an effort to start directly communicating with members, I realized, wow, this is hugely valuable for me because I'm learning a lot of things that I wasn't learning through the grapevine kind of stuff. And a lot of it actually goes back to language translation and just things like internationalization, localization, the fact that we're using third-party hosted services like YouTube and Medium and all these other websites, where essentially is all I'm thinking we're giving all our link juice away because they already have all the link juice. So we want to piggyback on them, where I'm saying now we need to build our own, you know, our own authoritative voice and whatnot. So I've had some talks with Dan and just briefly about some of the ideas that I'd like to see happen, and I just beginning that dialogue. And I also have a huge interest in not having to repeat the wheel. It's like there's so many community members that use Zoom or that use Discord or that use these online tools, and other ones need help with it, you know. And it's sort of like I don't want Dan struggling with Zoom as just as much as I don't want to be struggling with it. And it's like a lot of times we have all these people around us that have all the information, but we have no way to actually turn to them for help. And so I'm trying to figure out an incentivized way to where so we can tokenize information and learning and mentorship, and that this exchange of services can be done through EOS transactions and whatnot. So I'm thinking about a lot of those kinds of things, but not really able to formalize my thoughts into like something substantive that I can pitch at this moment. How about Jay? You want to go next?
Sure. So I would say I only put in a few hours this week on what could be under the circle of Eden Fractal. I think I did notice with the dust up between seems to me the chief delegates and Dan Larimer about handing over the keys, and then have requesting that essentially Dan Larimer and the Clarion Fractally team hand over all of the IP related property rights to Eden, to the chief delegates, and then they posted the declaration that really it sounded to me like it was, you know, I'm not a big fan of the word bullying, but kind of like either arrogant or bullying or give us the stuff, Dan. And it just didn't seem right the way that it was presented. So I posted in the Telegram chat that, you know, and it's interesting. I think what I'm attempting to do is just be kind of a peacemaker, to allow, you know, I'm not claiming that I'm always rational or have a voice of reason, but I do see our community as needing to not burn any bridges and get angry, upset with each other, because I don't think that's helpful. And then it was interesting how it seemed like Eve LaRose and Dan Larimer were able to figure out, you know, a solution for the Fractally Clarion team to hand off Eden to Eden, if it exists. And so I don't know if I helped or hurt that fight, but it did seem to get resolved a little bit so far. So I was happy to see that. I did participate in those conversations, even if it was through chat. But and then as far as Fractally, I am on a Fractally in Orbit team, and I've been working up, and I have not found a solution yet, but even if you think about it, writing a team contract or a team agreement or a team working consensus or a relational structure, and how do you distribute property amongst teammates, and that, you know, you one word that you could, or phrase you could use, is a strategic alliance. Each of us are human beings with our own, what we bring to the table, our own contributions, the value, and it's so much subjective. And it seems like not only is that true in our, just say, one Fractally team, but how do we work together? Doug, Lou, and I have talked a lot about how do you structure something like that, and it's just not clear. So I feel as though I've put the jigsaw puzzle pieces out on a table, and I'm trying to see how to piece it together. My goal would be to allow small, even if it's 2 people or 14 people, or, you know, or Eden, to figure out a way that how can we have an organizational structure and share and reward people with, you know, whether you call it respect opinions or actual monetary payments or token distributions. How do you work together? How do you have an understanding where you're not going to get in fights down the road, and, you know, everybody has an appreciation of where they stand? I'm wrestling with those ideas right now, and I have put in a few hours of time on, and like I say, I don't have it worked out yet, but I think that that's something worth my investment of time. That's all. Thanks, guys.
All right, so I'll go last. So there was a question asked earlier. Do we talk about Fractally? Do we talk about Eden, our contributions to both? My opinion on this, and I'm going to see with Singjoy after the meeting if we can make this clear for everyone and what's everyone's opinion on this. I'm already a member of Fractally. I have my team there. The goal with each Fractal is to recognize each member's contributions regarding that Fractal. So my opinion on this is that we should be talking here on the Eden Fractal. That's my first time participating here. We should be talking about our contributions to EOS, to Eden. So Eden is made for that purpose, is recognizing who are the members who contribute the most to the EOS ecosystem. And parallel to that, I have my Fractally meetings where the goal is to promote the Fractally process. And that's why I got my French team there to help promote the process worldwide. So I'm going to see with Singjoy what's everyone's opinion on this, if we can make this clear for everyone. So regarding my contributions, so that's my first time participating in the Eden Fractal. That's awesome. I love it. I've been a fan of the Eden process since I first read Dan's book a year ago, and I decided to join EOS. Now seeing the Eden Fractal process being applied here is just a joy. And yeah, I'm happy to share my contributions for this week. So after a year with EOS, I am now a full-time job at EOS Support as a head of communications. I handle content creation there, so creating graphics for the EOS ecosystem, promotions, events. I host a live stream now every week. The next one is tomorrow, every Thursday. I do translations for them, and yeah, it's become my full-time job there. So every week, most of my work this week has been to iron out the live streams. So making sure that we have quizzes, giveaways, everything that we need to promote the event as best as possible, and make it an event that it is about introducing new people to EOS. So we have the fireside chats, which are great to people that are already veterans in the EOS ecosystem to come in and chat and share ideas. But my thoughts were that we needed an event to be more welcoming to new users, a place where new users could come in and have their questions answered live. So that's why I've set up since 2 times. I've done 2 live streams already, and the third one is going to be tomorrow. So yeah, most of my work this week has been on promoting, looking at ways to better promote this event on Telegram groups, Reddit, forums, obscure crypto forums hiding everywhere. So that has been my focus for the week. And from time to time, I can help to help EOS support with translations. I'm also a language leader, so my job is to look over the translations of articles in French and Spanish so far. And we're also working on a new website for your support. I'm giving my 2 cents on that as a content creator and UX designer. So we have big plans for that. We have the app ecosystem. So I made the app ecosystem as a content creator a few months ago. Very proud of that. But the goal now is to have a more detailed list, a more searchable database for everyone to use on the EOS support website, among other things. So, no, that's all the EOS centered back. I was going to quote all the Fractal things, but I'm staying on EOS centered stuff. So that's all for this week, I think. Yeah. And we're done. Nice. We can all unmute now and have a more open conversation.
Jay, I wanted to ask you, have you seen Dan Larimer's opinion about the DAO being just a consensus on the token and nothing more, or consensus on opinion?
Yes. So I think I have I've spoken to Dan about how he sees that, and I think I understand your question, Ami, that Dan's vision is just we have a DAO can exist solely upon one human being or a group of human beings' opinion about another person's relative contribution within a community, and that it's not subject to any jurisdiction or even property law, because it's just a group consensus of the opinions of human beings. So it's non-taxable, and it's nothing that can be seized by a nation state, because it's just a set of people's group opinions, or a consensus between 2 people's opinions of each other's relative value of their contributions and the value of their respect tokens included. So I understand that as an outline of his vision. As a lawyer, I have difficulty seeing how we can, I asked him, how can I buy groceries with that or pay my rent? And he said, well, at that point, you would be exchanging your respect tokens, for example, for either a different, fiat-backed currency, or something that through an exchange you could cash it out into fiat money and then go buy your groceries and pay your rent. And so then that at that transaction level, it could arguably be a taxable event, or at that point, it converts an opinion into a digital asset or currency. And so that's my understanding of where Dan Larimer's coming from. I have, because I need to pay my rent and buy groceries, I have difficulty seeing how to live in those 2 universes, parallel universes at the same time. And so that's one of the key focuses of what I'm going to have to wrestle with and come out with some type of solution that I can articulate and that's helpful to people. And I like I say, I do not yet have a good answer.
No, but I wanted to ask about something else regarding Dan's ideas, and that's how do you make an agreement among the members of a team, and how do you enforce that if it's not on a smart contract? So you want to make something that's in the traditional legal system, so a team formalizes their relationship and the amount of tokens that each one should get. How does
Yeah,
that
so
work?
right. So Ami, that's also a classic conflict between people say just build your business logic into your smart contract. And it's like you everything's an algorithm. And then if you have a question, you bring some people together, they reach a vote, and then the vote can be translated onto the smart contract to spit out the result according to the business logic of your smart contract. The real life problem is, and we've just seen it with Eden and the ENF. It's that, what do we do with the intellectual property? And it's like, well, that was outside the scope of our smart contract. And then so it's like, now what do we do? So the classic conflict is smart contracts are a magnificent solution if you can design in all of the contingencies. And it's like, but what's funny about human beings, somebody dies and it's like, well, Jay Taylor's dead. We don't know, how do we transfer his digital assets back into the algorithm? And it's like, so there's so many, real life has so many contingencies. As a practical reality, it's almost impossible to design the perfect smart contract that can solve all of the team's problems. And so at that point, we need that. Then you can really use things like more equal animals, or the I live in the U.S., so the American democracy experiment. There's a lot of really interesting philosophical and real life political solutions to try and work through all of these. What happens if somebody hacks you and stole your money? How do you, and you want to go, you want to go arrest them and put them in prison? What do you do? So there's all kinds of these real life conflicts, unfortunately, that it throws a monkey wrench into our machine.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to comment on that because I'm actually participating in 2 different teams on Fractally, but on paper, I'm only a member of the EOS Translation Foundation. And my understanding in terms of the Fractally in Orbit team, of which I'm probably as active as a member as anybody else, or, is that like I'm a volunteer or a contract. I could be there as a volunteer or as on a contracted basis, but since I haven't contracted with anyone, I'm just there as a volunteer. So right now there's a very unclear set of expectations over, like, say time goes on, oh, I created all this value to this project, what's my cut of it, kind of thing. Whereas I'm not worried about the fact that there's unclear expectations. Normally, as a business person, I would be very hesitant, very concerned about entering into these kinds of relationships without clear expectations, even just a verbal or a handshake. But the reason why I'm not bothered by it is because I'm gaining a tremendous amount of value from the process. I'm gaining great relationships with people. I'm learning a tremendous amount. And the fact that if I am contributing value and that's demonstrated to the group, I'm not worried about what respect I earned or what compensation I'm going to get out of it, or try to, finagle over, argue over pennies or something like that.
1, 2, 3, 4,
I'm
5,
just more
6.
interested in continuing on the process and building something. And I feel there's ways I can extract value out of that, regardless if it's successful or not. Just participating it and telling a story about it. To me, I can monetize that.
Hey, Doug.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to working with you to make sure you're protected on your teams. But right now, I wanted to propose you guys write this down and see if you like this list. Bishop number 6, Ami number 5, Vlad number 4, Doug number 3, Dwayne number 2, and Jay number 1. I'm nervous about putting Dwayne all the way down to a number 2 because he invited 12, of his Eden people in, and so I feel this was just my gut reaction. The reason I'm throwing this out there now is because I wanted to give us a starting point, or because I feel like so many of the contributions are so varied, we're going to have a difficult time ranking everybody.
Yeah. Do you want to do it gradually and discuss
Yeah.
6 first?
Yeah. So why don't we start with I'm proposing Bishop for number 6.
I kind of
Based
wrote down
upon
my
his-
list too, and I
yeah.
had Bishop for number 6 as well.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. I would agree with that.
Well, thanks, guys.
I also agree.
Okay, so we have Bishop. Congratulations.
Thanks.
And-
For 5th,
and-
I think you're right. Amy has done an amazing job with the EOS box over the months and years that I've followed your project. It's an amazing idea to have an easy tool that's nothing to do with private keys. I read about the project a long time ago, and I'm happy to know that you're still working on it. And it's a
Yes.
great contributions, in my opinion, to EOS. So 5th position for you is fine by me. Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Everyone
I had
agree?
Amy as-
Ami 5.
Thank you.
I had Vlad as my next pick.
Okay, can you share what you value in Vlad's contributions? Because every time it's different for everyone. Each one values different things. I'm a content creator and communicant, so maybe I value more communication than dev toolings, etc. So I'm curious about your opinion on this.
For sure. I've had the opportunity to be in part of some other groups with him as well. So I've just seen, I think you're just getting James Mart and being able to put in that time. I just really value that ability to be able to have that dialogue and be able to dissect it. And so, yeah, I think I think we need more people, and I think why I would vote that way is that maybe that would attract more programmers and more people to be doing the same. So.
What was your opinion, Jay, on 4th position?
So I think that Dwayne just articulated very well that one of the measurements, it's not the only measurements, but is who's making contributions that was almost indispensable. And that kind of falls in line with Vlad being number 4, because working out the smart contract issues, just creating the network to make sure that we have the foundation level, I think is very critical for us to move forward.
Great.
Yeah, I'm for Vlad also at number 4.
I second that as well. Good.
Mhm.
Dan sent a message, 6 minutes left.
Okay.
Vlad, could you just post your EOS account? All right, now it's tough. I say 3-way tie.
Well, the Fractally ranking system is never perfect, and there's always going to be injustice or unfairness in the micro week-to-week meetings. But over the long run, it's supposed to average out other people, and the weekly contributions are going to be varied. So and everyone is contributing and being appreciated by just being here.
Well, I made my proposal. I feel like I say, I think Dwayne and Doug are in a tie in my mind. I don't know how to, so I hope someone can correct me. But Doug is definitely a maniac and he's all in and I love it. Dwayne is the same way. He invited 12 people. I love it. He's necessary. And you know, so to me it's a tie. I'm just throwing out Doug, Dwayne, and Jay almost just because we better get a consensus because that's key.
I want to chime in here. One of the present criteria for Fractally, if we apply it also to this group, is invitation of new members. And so as part of the white paper, as part of a metric, I think Dwayne has done a much better job of that than myself or you, Jay. So for that, I would give him 3. The other thing too is I'm actually playing this in a funny way where I'm trying to get the least respect. Like, I don't care if I'm undervalued. I want other people to have their contributions valued. And the fact is that I know enough about smart contracting to know it's way over my head. You know, I've actually played around with Docker and
Okay,
Visual Studio. So I say Dwayne.
Okay. So I vote for Dwayne as number 3, Doug is number 2, Jay is number 1, and I think we only have about 30 seconds to type that in. I vote that we reach a consensus. Let's get it done.
Are we sure that we record in the chat then?
I am recording on my OBS but yeah.
This breakout room. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
Jay, do you have our EOS accounts and they're ordered? So if you can put that in the chat.
Is that what you said right there?
We can copy paste. Oh.
I know that's not the EOS account names. That's just the people's names in the orders.
I don't have the ability on my cell phone to type out the EOS account names.
Thank you, Dwayne.
Yeah, let's and just double check that I got the spelling right on everybody's EOS account name there.
Oh, you could have a .x in the EOS account name. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's some premium names you can get.
What?
All right, we did it, you guys.
Yeah.
Great.
Copy paste is easy.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, thanks, Dwayne.
2 minutes left.
And we did it on time. Nice.
Woo! So is there going to be a celebration today with the whole handoff of keys, or that party just went down the tube? I like the comment that, hey, what are you talking about? We invited you to the party.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see who's there when we go back to the main room.
I think it was a celebration in the sense that, it was the master. If everyone can sign that off, that's a master consensus. So it was very